Hey, what's up, everybody? Hold on. Hey, how's it going? uh, I wanted to read something scary because it's, but there's not really, I don't know what's scary anymore. Since I got Jesus. Kind of takes away all your fears, so. But, I had this occult book, The Smokeless Fire. And it has the history of the Jinn. So let's check that out. Smokeless Fire by the Nephilim Press. And the author is S.Ben Qayin. I think. Qayin. Anyways. Accounts. Here, I'll do this. Accounts of the Jinn throughout the Arabian history go back long before any written documentation, and they seem to have always been spoken of amongst the Bedouin, who narrated the tales and recited poetry that featured or mentioned them. Jinn were first written of in the Quran and written within tales far older, which made up the whole of Alf Layla wa Layla, or more commonly known as Arabian Nights. Translated into English by Burton, as mentioned before, the accounts of Jinn given in the Quran are numerous and provide some of the most detailed okay, where was I? According to the Quran, Allah had created all the planets and the stars, the earth and the sea, the night and the day, and of course all the known and unknown animals and planets upon the earth. Oh, not planets, but plants. He also created all spiritual creatures, such as angels, men, and jinn. Allah created the heavens and the earth and all that is in between them in 6 days. Quran 7:54, chapter 7, verse 54. All was well for an unmarked period of time. However, there arose a disagreement between Allah and some of the angels, including his first and most beautiful angel, Iblis. I think that's Beliar from the aforementioned story that I told yesterday, or the day before. Anyways, when finished, Allah commanded the angels to bow down before the newly formed man and to prostrate to him. And Allah said unto the angels, I am about to create man from clay. When I have finished him, fall ye down in observance unto him. Quran, chapter 38, verse 72. Some angels angrily questioned Allah and his action of creating man and giving him violent dominance over the earth, and even give indications of being horribly shocked in this act, questioning their own allegiance to him. Would you put on earth those who would spill blood, and we worship you and exalt you? The Quran, chapter 2, verse 30. Excuse me. It is here that Iblis had heard enough, and he knew that he would not bow down before man, nor would he again bow down before Allah. Having seen the truth and awakened to his own godhood, He knew he would never bow down before another again. We created you and then shaped you. Then we said to the angels, prostrate to Adam. So they prostrated except for Iblis. He was not one of those who prostrated, and I'll ask, what kept you from prostrating when I commanded you? Iblis stated, I am better than him. You created me from fire and him from clay. Allah replied angrily, leave here. It is not for you to become haughty here. Now leave. You are among the humbled. Iblis responded, respite me until the day that they will be raised. Allah then said, you are among those who are respited. Iblis stated boldly, now because you have sent me astray, I shall surely sit in an ambush for them on your straight path. Then I shall come on them, and from behind them, from their right and from their left. And you will find most of them thankful. Allah, full of anger, said, go now, despised and banished. Those of them that follow you, I shall assuredly fill Jahannam with all of them. Quran, chapter 7, verses 11 through 25. It is interesting to note that Iblis' statement that he does not intend to do mankind harm in general, only those who are obedient to Allah in order and walk his straight path. And so Iblis left his station of slavery and raged upon the earth in search of those who had chosen the crooked path of darkness from among the jinn. And the jinn had the ability to choose their individual path, and not all chose to be obedient to Allah. There is a significant difference between those two classes of beings, angels and jinn. Angels are created solely to praise and serve Allah, while the jinn were to roam upon the earth and have freedom to travel their own spiritual paths through time, choosing either the way of slavery, as Allah himself refers to it, or of independence, where one may walk the path of a God and know their own true strength and will. As with the human differences regarding to the religion, the jinn have many different clans and beliefs which they adhere to. One clan of jinn were known to have listened to Hadith's teaching and the Quran being recited one day in a local town square, and found Allah's words to be true, which led them to become followers of Islam. Though as with human religions or beliefs, there were some jinn that chose to be free of Allah's shackles and follow the dark truth of their heart, which led them to reject Allah and his chains of servitude. Some of us are righteous and some of us are otherwise. We are parties differing. And that's from the Quran, chapter 72, verse 11. It was the jinn that had deviated which Iblis sought, for they shared in the same burning anger and hatred of Allah and his controlled society of slaves. And indeed, Iblis did find them and assembled an army of 72 of his most bloodthirsty jinn that had ever roamed the earth. Jinn were said to have been created before man of the element of the earth, from burning from the burning element of fire. We created man from dried clay and from black mud. And we created the jinn before from the fire of hot wind. Quran chapter 15 verses 26 through 27. The jinn have also been referred to as being created from smokeless fire. The messenger of Allah, known as Muhammad, stated, "The angels were being from the light, and the jinn were created from the smokeless fire." There are such as Ibn Abbas Mujahid, paternal cousin to Muhammad, and others who believe that smokeless fire refers only to the very tips of the flames or the purest, cleanest part of the flames. Only according to others, as it is flames mixed with the blackest of fire. Regardless, it is seen that the jinn are related to the infernal spirit and they are directed of its element. Fire and jinn are synonymous with each other and entwined. Fire has long been associated with the spiritual world, acting as a gateway between realities and planes of dimensional existence. And Ifrit is a class of very powerful fiery jinn, which this volume directly deals with. Traditionally, they are depicted with enormous fiery winged beings that are generally associated with walking the dark path of Iblis. They are mentioned in the Quran and Alf Leia wa Leia. Alf Leia wa Leia. Among other lesser known texts, at least to the Western world, such as Shams al-Ma'arif al-Kubra. However, their description in Mescalino di Solomon is quite different. They are conjured form most are familiar with as being present in the Goetia. Some are simple in appearance while others are complex and the horrendous conjecture. The jinn presented in this volume are Ifrit of the clan Ta, all, known as containing the most purely destructive jinn among the houses or clans Ifrit. And of course, when discussing jinn, the subject of ghouls must be included, as they are indeed importantly related. It has been said that the ghouls are simply jinn or genie that did not follow Allah, and who feast on the blood and flesh of the living as well as the dead. Ismail bin Umar Abu al-Faida mentioned in Tafsir Ibn Kathir that ghouls were demons of genies, which further supports this. There are many tales and description of ghouls in Silawa, the Arabic history, and each has a different twist or take. Each one has a different twist or take on particular beings or qualities. though some are common beliefs and flow through them, which leads to the credibility of belief, as all embellishes tales have sacred truth that lies at their heart.